going on, Corey? Show you my trailer here set up. Show you how I got it worked out here. So this is the back end water hose here, and I've got it to where I've got a filter right there that hooks into my line. That line comes off the filter up over and up the tank into the top of the tank there. And then there's the float valves inside of that to keep the tank from overfilling. So now once the tank fills up, disregard this hose. That's a soft wash reel for our roof cleaning. It's got the pump and stuff on it, which you don't really have yet, but you'll get there one day, man. So here's the tank. So my tank feeds 2 pressure washers, right? So I've got mine where I use the outlet of the tank itself as a drain to drain my stuff or fill up a bucket if I need to. You can use that as your pressure wash to fill your pressure washer or feed it. Kind of up to you. I went with separate banjo fittings right here. But all you do is, whichever route you're going, you just got to get, a threaded end that goes down to a 1-inch hose barb. So this here is threaded into there, and there's a 1-inch hose barb, hose clamped on. That 1-inch hose goes to a ball valve to shut the water on or off. And again, like that diagram shows you, it'll tell you all the pieces you need. That's another 1-inch threaded. So you got 1-inch threaded to 1-inch hose barb, hose clamped. And then I got my other filter there. So I filter it going in and out of the tank. And then another 1-inch thread to 1-inch hose barb, and that goes into my pressure washer there. And then what I've got there is a 3/4 garden hose fitting to a 1-inch hose barb, and that kit you got should have all that. And then this is your hose for your unloader. That way when you let off the trigger, instead of the water going through and just recirculating through that little small section of hose that your pump comes with, it'll actually bypass that, and it keeps your pump cooler. So that water, when you let off the trigger, will actually come through here, and that yellow hose goes all the way back up and then back into the back side of my tank. Let me hop up here so you can see that. So then you see I got one for each. So you want that flow coming to the back side of the tank away from your outlet hole. That way you don't get air bubbles in your line. Same with your garden. When you're filling your tank, you want that on the back side. So this is your garden inlet with the buffer or the Hudson float valve inside, and that's your bypass hose. Then as far as your downstream injector, you're pretty much going to have your setup right here on the outlet side. Mine, I kind of did some special fabricating on mine, but before I had mine right here, and then you just hook your quick connect up to your downstream injector, and then you'd put your hose on your hose bar for your downstream injector, and then into a 5-gallon bucket with your mix. The way mine's set up is I use the spare tire rack on the trailer itself. So mine goes from the pressure washers, and pressure washer feeds my downstream injectors right here. So there's my 2 downstream injectors right there. And what I'm doing here, this is something I'm setting up right now, is you always want to flush these downstream injectors out. So what I've got going on is I've got these hoses for both pressure washers that go, it's just a drop stick that goes inside the tank to the water. And then these hoses I'm going to hook up here onto each of these 3-ways. That way when I want soap, my soap's going up and then into my bucket. And you can see my drop sticks down in there. So when I want soap, I just turn my valve this way, and that'll give me my soap. And then if I want to flush it, I turn it this way, and that'll go towards the hose going back up into my tank. So that's kind of a general setup. I mean, you'll have to tweak yours a little bit just because it's a little different of a setup. But if you got any other questions, man, just give me a shout. Later.